For Victims and Villains, my name is Josh, and today we are talking about the movie Dark Nuns. Dark Nuns is the 2025 sequel to the 2015 movie The Priests, which I did a review on earlier today on this channel. I'll link it at the end. But essentially, it tells the story of two nuns that go against protocol in order to save a young boy possessed by an evil spirit. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. This major complaint. This feels incredibly weird to call this a sequel. This movie suffers from what I will call the Dimension Pinhead Syndrome, where, if you don't know what that is, from 2000 to 2010, an entire decade, let that sink in, Dimension took one of the greatest and probably most misunderstood horror icons of all time and basically sent them into a direct-to-video purgatory. In that purgatory, in order to keep the license and create new movies with said property, they would take existing scripts that had nothing to do about Pinhead, the Cenobites, or any of the mythology, and find ways to rewrite it and work them in. And what ended up happening are these really awkward, sometimes incredibly hard to watch movies starring one of the most menacing horror icons of all time for these really lackluster video entries. Before I jump back into Dark Nuns, you can come for me in the comments if you like. I like this era of Pinhead. I don't necessarily love it, but I still have fun with them. There's still good times to be had. So now that I got that out of the way, let's get back. But that's how this movie feels. It feels like they took an existing script and found a way to connect it to this 2015 supernatural religious horror film called The Priest. And it really is messy overall. I think in my review for The Priest, I compared it structurally to The Exorcist, and if The Priest is the equivalent to The Exorcist, then Dark Nuns is the equivalent to The Exorcist Deceiver. This movie was terrible. This movie really leans into the tropes of the supernatural horror genre in almost every way imaginable. This movie is forgettable, painfully predictable, and this movie is just slow. And in that slowness, it's just boring. You're given characters that you don't really care about, who have convictions that you're not really sure why you should even connect with or want to identify or emote with them in any way, shape, or form. This movie has interesting things that it explores, and I think I can respect it for that. And the longer that I sit with some of those ideas and the way that they're given to their audience, I'm also reminded of the climax of the Exorcist Deceiver, and how that also took interesting concepts and just kind of force-fed it to the audience. And that's what it feels like this one does here. There's nothing really redeemable here. The performances in this movie are good, I will give it that, but the runtime, the pacing of this movie is so slow, and there's no payoff for how slow this movie actually is. And when you throw in the fact that this movie is also one of the most generic films that you will see in the possession subgenre in 2025, it's not really helping its case either. This one's going to be a shorter review. I'm already ready to run this one through our Rorschach rating scale. I'm going to go ahead and give Dark Nuns a 1 out of 5. This was one of the most painful experiences I have had in quite a while. This movie is dreadfully predictable, incredibly slow with no payoff. Performances here are good, but there is so many paint by numbers moments that happen in the possession subgenre of any other film. You can apply it here as well, and the fact that this is a quote-unquote sequel just doubles down the travesty that is this movie. Dark Nuns is now available to own or rent on Blu-ray, DVD, or VOD. We'll provide a link in the show notes below where you guys can pick it up and check it out. If you guys have seen Dark Nuns, what did you guys think? Comment below. Let me know. In the show notes below, you guys will also find links to our social media, podcast network, more movie reviews like this, how to support us financially, as well as links to our mental health resource library and the follow button. So until next time, remember to keep it spooky, keep it classy. Have a good night.